Shut yourselves in, everyone. It's Trainman 7000 time. Welcome to the 50th episode of Lego Wars. This is me, Trainman 7000. And this is Dan. These are the two main characters you'll need to focus on in the episode. Then there's also David, who comes in a wee bit later. So here is the mechanics yard where they fix up broken vehicles and build new vehicles. Over here is our forest that we grow plants and we suck the hydro energy out of it because it's a very rare type of plant found on an alien base lab planet, and we've created a science lab and made special fuel to fuel vehicles. And here's where injured military men get bandaged up and fixed. This is Amy, who is the nurse. This is Trainman 7000's robot sidekick, who is learning how to do procedures at the moment. Here is our ninjoid army of soldiers that are waiting here on their charging pod until aliens come down, and then they will defeat them and then go back to their charging pod. Every now and then one of them will be a guard at the guard door, which is over here. This is the main central office where, well, they just play video games the whole time and drink as much coffee as they like. This over here is the fuel cell, and this over here is the satellite dish to unlimited internet. And as for beyond the base, there's a scrapyard and a broken down house. Over here we have the military. These have fully armed functional weapons and a bunch of vehicles. This is the brand new tank, which is still in building progress. One day, Trainman, Stan, and David were all having a meeting. They are all discussing that they should build a project for the military so then they could win every war they went to. David said that it should be able to be strong enough to survive in World War III and be reused for World War IV. Stan and Trainman thought that this idea was good, but they didn't know what to build it out of. David said, leave it up to him, because he knew a scientist who could build anything. Stan and David agreed, but only for one wish: to have the weapon of their dream. Trainman already had his weapon of his dream. He had a black hole sword, which meant anything he touched with it would completely disappear and be sent to the gates of hell. But that was only if it was in battle, and it could only be used on the most evil villain of all time, or either the leader of the war. Depending on how evil they were, would depend on how far down into the Earth's crust they would go. As for Stan, he had 2 enchanted golden swords with fire aspects 5, but he still wanted something better, though he didn't know what. So they both agreed, and David set to work. The very next morning, Trainman Stan had a meeting to explain to all of their workers what they were planning on doing. Then, after doing a long speech, the scientist came up to ask them for their opinion. The crowd all cheered as the scientist came onto the stage. They were all greatly excited for the new idea. The scientist also said that they would have to be trained just like the military men, and they'd have to go to the military to get trained up, so then they could go to war with it. So then, if anything bad ever happened, they would be able to go to war with it and have the exact same skills, but only they would die and the project would survive. They all committed their lives. Great, said the scientist. Right, I'll start building with David and let's go. Later on, at least 2 years down the track, they had completed the suit. David and the scientist Philip, were talking to Trainman and Stan and Trainman's son, Joshy. They all were very impressed. Philip the scientist also said that if any of the robot mechanism broke, you could use it as a suit to wear. But the only problem is, it is big enough for a human to fit inside, but there are spring locks in it, which means if you don't put it on the right way, it can cut you and you could die instantly if the spring locks snap on you. So beware and be careful. The crowd cheered and they were all happy. Then they took it to the military to get tested. Later on that night, they had a big party to celebrate the build that they had created, the undefeated suit, and very soon the next morning they'd be heading in a truck to the military. Yay! The next morning, the team left in a red truck to go to the military. After a long hour's drive, the guards at the gate of the military were angry. Hey! You there! Why are you here? They said. Then David said, We're here to show you a new project. We want to test it for the military. Hold on, I need to get the sergeant, they said. When the sergeant came out, he quickly sized up the situation and immediately responded by, Yes, we will do test fires. So, very soon the truck went in. Cool. The scientist Philip explained the whole robot Project 70. The sergeant said, Yep, we'll do small test fires, and if he survives, then we do bigger ones. Alright. Then they got the cannon and shot. Upon hitting it, there was no damage whatsoever. Then all the soldiers started firing 22 rifles at it. Nothing really happened at all. Then later, Philip thanked the sergeant for testing out the thing, and the sergeant said, Maybe if it's strong enough to uphold a satellite bomb, maybe we buy it off you for $20 billion. I appreciate that very much, said the scientist. Later on that night, the scientist talked to David. David, I just want to feel what it feels like to be in that suit. David tried to convince him not to. But it's spring-loaded. You might die. I don't care. It's my suit. I do what I want. But you shouldn't. It will turn into that. No. I know what is right for me. I have too much money and I have too much of everything. There's nothing new for me to do. I don't feel like being alive. David kept on convincing him, but it was too late. The scientist quickly put on the suit, hopped into the suit, and stayed here. David asked if he was alright. Then the scientist started twitching very violently. You could hear snap. Then it happened. The face of the scientist disappeared. Started twitching violently. The snaps of the springs loaded for the punching of the robot military man Project 90 started snapping and shaking. Then David got shook from a blast. He looked up to see this. David, how? Meow, said the suit. The scientist had turned into a mutant. Oh no, said David. That fuel's got toxic in it. It turned the scientist into a electronic. Then the suit was finished. Leaving nothing behind but the empty scientist suit that Philip wore. Hey guys, it is Trainman7,000 back again. I just wanted to say that story will be continued, and that's only the first episode, so there's heaps more to come. So I'm gonna hope that will leave you hanging until next Wednesday's episode. Anyway, I enjoyed making this video, hope you did. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click that like button. Share this video with a friend if you want to scare them. And I will see you later. Trainman